The stars above Vera's reach burned with a quiet serenity when the attack came. It was humanity's youngest colony, barely a century old, a fragile outpost of steel domes and hydroponic fields clinging to the edge of an alien frontier. Farmers tilled foreign soil, children chased games beneath shimmering biodomes, and traders bartered under banners of peace. Then the sky split open. The Krival Dominion, a war-born empire of chitin and claws, had grown weary of Earth's expansion. They considered humanity a pest, ambitious, spreading quickly, but weak. And so, without warning, their fleets descended. Fire tore across the colony. Orbiting defense satellites were erased in the first salvo, their remains falling like flaming comets. Domes shattered as thermal lances carved through homes and habitats. Screams carried through comm channels as civilians fled. But no escape craft ever reached the void. The Krival soldiers made landfall in waves, towering insectoid brutes encased in organic armor. They set entire districts aflame for no reason other than spectacle. One commander broadcasted his voice across every surviving frequency. "Humans, see how your children burn. See how your walls fall. You are prey who mistook yourselves for predators." And when the colony's envoy raised a white flag of surrender, the Krival crucified him against the colony's spaceport beacon, a grotesque warning to Earth. When it was done, Vera's reach was ash and bone. The Dominion rejoiced. They had struck the first blow. Certain humanity would crumble in fear. Feasting on ashes, the arrogance of empires, in the high citadel of Krival Prime, alien warlords gathered to boast. Hollow recordings of Vera's destruction played on endless loops. Humans begging, humans burning, humans silenced. They toasted in hissing laughter, venom dripping from their mandibles. "The Terrans are soft," one general chittered. "They bleed words, not fire. They think themselves civilized, bound by their councils and treaties. They will condemn us, but they will not fight." Another added, "Earth forgets its place. They believe in patience and diplomacy. They have forgotten the hunger of survival that once carried their kind through primal nights. That spark is gone." Around the galaxy their arrogance spread. Other empires, long jealous of humanity's swift rise, nodded in agreement. Perhaps the Krival were right. Perhaps Earth was nothing more than a flickering candle in a storm. The Dominion declared a holiday of conquest. Entire sectors lit with fireworks and battle hymns, celebrating humanity's defeat before the war had even begun. They mistook silence for weakness. They mistook restraint for fear. They mistook humanity's stillness for surrender, and that mistake would doom them all. The old flame awakens. The message of Vera's annihilation reached Earth not with panic, but with silence. For 3 days, the Terran council chambers stood still. No outbursts, no cries of vengeance, just quiet. The galaxy interpreted it as paralysis. But within the shadows of Earth's fleet command, something ancient stirred. A phrase began to echo through encrypted channels, whispered across the black, "Our ancestors' fire rises again." Those words were more than rhetoric, they were a summons. Humanity had not forgotten its past. Beneath the skin of civilization, beneath treaties and alliances, burned the same relentless fire that had once carried humankind through millennia of struggle. The same fire that built ships to cross oceans, machines to cross stars, and weapons to hold against extinction itself. The galaxy had mistaken mercy for frailty. They were about to be reminded of the truth. Earth's skies thundered as shipyards lit like forges. The great dreadnoughts, silent for centuries, awakened from orbital docks. Entire fleets that had been decommissioned under peace accords emerged from shadow arsenals no foreign eye had ever glimpsed. War banners unfurled, but they did not display symbols of negotiation or restraint. They bore fire, the same flame mankind once tamed from wood and stone, the same flame now reborn as plasma and steel. Across the stars, Dominion scouts vanished. Outposts fell silent. Then came a final broadcast from Earth to every empire. "You sought to remind us of fear. Instead, you have reminded us of fire. To the Krival Dominion, your empire is ash and humanity is the wind." And with that, the retaliation began. The inferno unleashed it began at the outer rings of Krival space. Without warning, human fleets materialized from dark space, cloaked in silence until the very moment of annihilation. Planet-side defense networks, vast arrays that had stood for centuries, blinked out in minutes as human dreadnoughts rained kinetic hell. Cities that once thought themselves eternal watched skies turn to storm clouds of metal. The Dominion rallied. Entire swarms of warships surged forward, chittering their war hymns. But humanity's fleets were not the same as those that had fallen at Vera. These were ships born from centuries of patience. Vast carriers with hulls like mountains, destroyers that struck faster than Krival sensors could track, automated kill drones that turned entire swarms to debris in seconds. And then came the soldiers. From dropships they descended, clad in armor black as night, moving with precision born not of conquest, but of vengeance. Their eyes burned with the memory of Vera's reach. They did not conquer, they erased. Every city that raised arms was leveled, every command node obliterated. One Krival commander screamed into the comms, "What are you?" "You are not prey, you are death itself." To which a human general coldly replied, "No, we are fire. And fire consumes." The galaxy watched as human fleets advanced sector by sector, unstoppable, merciless. No plea for negotiation was heard, no offer of surrender accepted. The Dominion had chosen the terms, extermination, and humanity honored them in kind. Stars themselves seemed to dim beneath the shadow of Earth's fleets. The collapse of arrogance panic spread across Krival space. Their proud warlords, once so certain of dominance, now scrambled like insects under floodlight. Their fleets, once thought infinite, shattered. Battles that should have lasted days ended in hours. Fortress worlds fell in a single night. Human bombardments did not simply defeat. They annihilated, burning ecosystems, silencing hives, reducing entire planets to hollow embers. Even when Dominion forces tried to retreat, humanity was already there, blocking every corridor of escape. It was as if Earth had studied their every weakness, every vulnerability, every blind spot, and struck with surgical precision. In truth, that was exactly what humanity had done. For centuries, they had endured as newcomers in a hostile galaxy, listening, watching, learning. Now that patience was a weapon sharper than any blade, the Krival Empire collapsed not just in battle, but in spirit. Once proud soldiers threw down their arms at the mere sight of Terran insignia. Commanders who once laughed at humanity now begged for their lives. But humanity did not answer with mercy. Ashes in the wind, the final Krival world burned under a sky veiled with fire. Great towers of chitin that had stood for eons crumbled into molten slag. The last cries of the Dominion echoed through the void, unheard, unheeded, and when the silence returned, only humanity remained. In council chambers across the galaxy, once boisterous voices now spoke in whispers. Empires that had once mocked Terrans now lowered their banners, terrified of drawing even a fraction of that same wrath. A single phrase spread like a curse across the stars, carried in fearful tones, "Never provoke Earth again," because the lesson was now clear. Humanity's patience was vast, their restraint legendary. But when that patience broke, when the old fire rose again, no empire, no dominion, no arrogant conqueror could withstand it. Humanity had burned once in the beginning, their ancestors surviving by flame and steel. Now that fire had returned, consuming alien empires like dry grass, and the galaxy, forever scarred, would remember the words that marked the end of Krival arrogance. Our ancestors' fire rose again to consume alien empires.